gonna flow. I've slept for hours, but I'm still tired. There's a lot flowing through me. I'm gonna try to express it gracefully. I'm 50 years old, but I've never understood this matrix world. And although I've found spiritual community, I don't understand it as well. I'm gonna use analogies, not because I'm comparing myself or anyone to anything, just because, I have to find a way to express it in a way that is concrete. I'm gonna use Jesus. As an example. Do people think that Jesus was booking sessions? And that he had posters up of, I will be in this city at this time. And that when he got there, he limited entry to who he spoke to? Because that's what the spiritual community does. They say, please, don't be upset if I can't answer all of your emails. I'm really busy. I'm overloaded. They say, I'm booked for sessions up until June. They say, I can only pump out so many videos. I'm so busy. And that's why I've done the exact opposite ever since I've been on YouTube. I'm told from my higher self and from everything that is a fifth dimensional perspective and beyond to find my gifts and then to give them away. I imagine sometimes if I had cubicled myself into a session with one person and charged the price that spiritual people charge in order to make sure that my life was secure, just how many other people would have missed out on the stuff that pours out of me when I do a live stream. Think about it. Those of you who've been in my live streams and you read the comments of somebody who says, I needed this today, Genevieve. If I had just been doing one-on-one sessions, making sure my life was fine, wouldn't I be following the same matrix ways of service to self? Making sure my family's secure, and then it really doesn't matter if everybody else is safe or not. We watch gurus and masters and people who have thousands or millions of subs say certain things. Yet are they embodying those certain things? People who have other people to lean on, do they remember? Or have they ever known what it's like to have a certain gift but nobody to connect it with? I'm going to give the example. If I told somebody who does not know how to cook, tomorrow 100 of us are going to be there. Here's your inventory. You have 2 people to help you prepare a meal for 100 people. Oh, and your 2 people don't know what they're doing either, so you 3 have to figure it out. But hey, just Believe in yourself. You are worthy. Love yourself. You'll figure it out. I could get that task and say, I don't need those two people. I'll figure it out. I got it. Let those two people do something else. That's what comes easy to me still. But holy shit, my iPad doesn't even have the capability for me to create a Patreon page or an SD page. And there's no computer landing at my door. And even if it did, the overwhelmingness of the task of having to do the things that are not part of my gifts sucks an energy from me that is beyond words. The spiritual community that speaks of finding your passion and then creating a career. How does that make sense from a fifth dimensional perspective of the world, heaven on earth, that we're here to manifest? I sing all the time. Does that mean I have to put out an album or sing in tune or know the words off by heart? Or do I just sing? We're told to take leaps of faith. Those of us who take a leap of faith are in a free-flowing never-never of an in-between world that those stuck in their 3D patterns do not understand and shame and guilt us, and those who are within the spiritual community, patterns, teachings, whatever, do not understand either. The exchange of energy when we manifest something. I've known since an adult what it feels like to make food or greet people in restaurant-style settings. All my life, it's what I've done. I know what it feels like for people to walk into my restaurant and they don't like me, but they have to be there, and how it feels to serve them my food versus somebody who's so fucking excited that they haven't been to my restaurant in weeks or months or a year. How grateful and how, like, even if that day I had only one meal to serve them, it would be enough. Versus someone else who nothing would ever be enough, but they had to come. When I started beading, everybody wants me to sell my beads. But they don't understand what energy and frequency is, of how it feels when you do something from a trance state, bead by bead. I know what it's like to gift my beads to people who I don't even know. I might never see them again in my whole life. But I can feel my lighthouse lit somewhere, or my turtle lit somewhere. Versus people who I've gifted my beads to, who it's a trinket in their collection of stuff. For over 2 years now, I've drawn Sharpie lines, sometimes colored, sometimes not, and gifted them to people around the world, just sent randomly in an email, a text. Surprising people in a way that nobody would ever have the balls to do. I've sent my artwork to artists, police officers, housewives, you name it, I've sent it. Some people have never even answered me back. Some people might not even have a certain platform messaging box even open and have not even seen it yet. And they might never see it. Or they might see it in 2 years and be like, wow, 4 years ago, some chick made this for me. I know exactly what it feels like when I feel like I have to do a drawing and it does not pour out of me. It's not the same feeling. I can draw for hours on end, send it away, but then when I have to do something, it doesn't feel the same. It doesn't feel the same. I've only ever been commissioned a few times to do something for someone. One of those times it felt pure because it was for a child. And I was asked after, how does it feel to be paid for your work? It feels hollow, to be honest. Is this because I don't have pride in myself? Because I don't feel worthy of receiving money? No, not at all. I just am not in the same frequency of the 3D anymore. I know how much energy and love I pour out of me every live stream. How many people pass through just surfing through. How? Even those that say they are conscious of what energy is. Are you? Are you really? Because if you are, why are you surfing around just watching a bunch of stuff randomly instead of focusing attention only where what feels good to you? My daughter came over yesterday. I'm not going to get into it. How hard it was because there was nothing authentic. And every time there was like some sort of subjective conversation that could be like harnessed and just like boom, talked about how it was cut off. And at one point she said, we watched Encanto. I was like, wow, I've seen Encanto. I watched it with Lily Rose. How did you guys react to watching it? She's like, what do you mean? I was like, you watched Encanto with my family. It's a family story. How did you guys feel? What do you mean? I said, well, Maribella and Bruno is me. How did you feel? How did everybody feel watching that with everything that's going on in our life right now? All the emotions, all the judgment. Oh, Mom, you're reading too much into it. It's just a movie. This is what I'm always told, because I don't watch many movies, and when I do, I'm affected by them. And I dissect them for what they are. Kanto is a story of a little girl who has so much honor for her family that she's shouting them out all the time. Meanwhile, her family is looking her in the eye, telling her how proud they are of her, even if she doesn't have a gift. But as soon as she turns around, everybody's either worried about her or worried for themselves. Bruno is spoken about as if he's a demon. Oh, we don't talk about Bruno. Because Bruno had the gift of sight. And when he tried to tell of the bad things that were coming, instead of trying to figure out why bad things would be coming, he was shunned. They thought he was gone, 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 far away. But then Maribella found him in a part of the land castle where they lived. And she's like, you've been here all along? He's like, yeah. protecting everybody from afar, even if he was shunned, spoken of in ways that we don't talk about Bruno. Bruno walks in with a mischievous grin. He never had a mischievous grin. He was scared shitless of telling everybody what was going to happen. Nobody wanted to listen. People want a solar flash to happen where everybody wakes up and is happy all at the same time. They want spaceships to come down from the sky. Oh, we will help. We will treat, light beings well if they come from the sky. But how the fuck do they treat them in real life? People across the world are being programmed to feel certain things about Russia and the Ukraine. And everybody's just so outraged, so sad, and so scared. Yet there's people in our own countries that need clothes, food, and shelter, and nobody gives a fuck. It's shocking to me when I go through my Instagram how many movie stars and pop stars and all those stars are asking for support for the Ukraine and Russia, because they are a part of the programs. It's not just the government that are the liars. How can somebody who makes $1 million beg, please support the Ukraine? I'm begging you. How does that make sense? That the freedom convoys passing through our own countries are shunned and ridiculed, told we're terrorists. Movie stars and pop stars did not speak up about convoys, yet now they're everywhere. Some are matching. If you guys donate $1 million, we will match that. Nobody's coming to save us. We are our own saviors, individually, collectively. Yet even those who say what they think they are not an embodiment. How dare you tell other people to have a leap of faith if you're not supporting them in their leap of faith? He no knows. He just free-flowed. But at some point, those that think they are have to act as they think they are. Because the shit show bullshit is everything of our thoughts. We are here to embody John Lennon, Imagine, and that is that. That song does not speak of, having careers and making sure your fucking bank account is full. It's about sharing. It's about the whole world coming together. It's a pathetic fucking reflection of how people just want to believe in another person, of what they say. When someone who calls themselves a life worker, a spiritual person, is saying, I'm so overwhelmed, I can't get to you all right now, instead of just sharing their gifts so that they're not overwhelmed, not walking the walk of a new world, new